Imagine a world holding its breath. It's the late 1930s and war is tearing through Europe and Asia. But across the Atlantic, the United States stands apart, officially neutral. That all changed on a quiet Sunday morning, December 7th, 1941. Without warning, the sky over Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, filled with Japanese warplanes. The surprise attack was devastating. Over 2,400 Americans lost their lives. A huge part of the U.S. Pacific Fleet was left in ruins. The nation was in shock. The very next day, a resolute President Franklin D. Roosevelt addressed a stunned Congress, declaring December 7th a date which will live in infamy. With that, America's neutrality was shattered. The United States had officially entered World War II. Almost overnight, the country transformed. An incredible wave of mobilization swept the nation. Car factories stopped making sedans and started churning out tanks and jeeps. Appliance manufacturers retooled to build weapons. Millions of men enlisted in the armed forces, heading off to training camps and then to the front lines. Back home, a different kind of army was forming. With so many men away, women stepped up to fill the void in the factories. The iconic image of Rosie the Riveter flexing her bicep became a powerful symbol of this new workforce. These women proved they could build planes, ships, and munitions just as well as anyone. America's economy, once struggling through the Great Depression, roared to life, becoming the arsenal of democracy, supplying not just its own troops but its allies as well. The United States found itself fighting a massive war on two opposite sides of the globe. In Europe, American GIs joined forces with the Allies, primarily the United Kingdom and the Soviet Union, in a monumental struggle against Nazi Germany. The goal was to liberate a continent from the grip of Adolf Hitler. The turning point in this theater came on June 6, 1944. This was D-Day. In the largest amphibious invasion in history, Allied troops stormed the beaches of Normandy, France. Under terrifying fire, they clawed their way ashore, establishing a foothold that would mark the beginning of the end for the Nazi regime in Western Europe. It was a day of incredible bravery and immense sacrifice. A crucial step on the long road to Berlin. Meanwhile, halfway across the world, an entirely different kind of war was being fought in the vast Pacific Ocean. Here, the enemy was Imperial Japan. The strategy was a brutal, exhausting campaign known as island hopping. U.S. Marines and soldiers fought their way from one heavily fortified island to the next, getting progressively closer to the Japanese mainland. Epic battles unfolded on jungle-covered islands like Guadalcanal and volcanic landscapes like Iwo Jima, where the iconic flag-raising photo was taken. Each victory was hard-won, often at a terrible cost, but each one brought the Allies a step closer to final victory in the Pacific. These were some of the most intense and grueling clashes of the entire war. By 1945, the end was in sight, but the final chapter was yet to be written. In May, Germany surrendered and celebrations erupted across Europe, but the war in the Pacific raged on. Allied leaders feared that a full-scale invasion of Japan would result in catastrophic casualties on both sides, potentially millions of lives. Faced with this grim prospect, President Harry S. Truman, who took office after Roosevelt's death, made one of the most controversial decisions in history. He authorized the use of a new, terrifying weapon, the atomic bomb. In August 1945, bombs were dropped on the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The destruction was unprecedented. A few days later, Japan announced its surrender. On September 2, 1945, the formal surrender was signed, and World War II was finally over. The war had profoundly reshaped the United States. It emerged, not as an isolated nation, but as a global superpower, setting the stage for a new era of international leadership and the beginning of the Cold War. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this look back at history interesting, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that shaped our world. See you next time.